Good evening to all. Welcome back to yet another part of the series. Another part of the series for the systematic review, wherein now I'm going to discuss about the types of evidences and the strength of the evidences that we have to understand with respect to the systematic review. I'm starting off with the type of evidence. Now here, if you can see the slide, it has been very clearly mentioned that there are 5 types of evidences which are present. Now I'm starting off from the bottom and I'll reach to number 1. Let me start off with point number 5. Clinical examples and expert opinion. And how do you get all these things from? Textbooks, non-research journals, articles, verbal reports, non-research based professional standards, guidelines, group articles. Now this is all has to be taken care of at the primary level. Now going to the next one, we have seen well-designed non-experimental studies wherein correlational or comparative descriptive studies, case study design, qualitative studies are being taken care of, and you are really improving and exposing yourself for more and more literature. In third one, we will see well-designed quasi-experimental studies, non-randomized controlled single group pre-post design, cohort, time series, one group of subjects over time, matched case control studies, 2 or more groups are matched on a certain variable. These kind of well-designed quasi-experimental studies can be picked up and you can enter into more research. Well-designed experimental studies, again because this is going to be focused on the experimental studies, you need to focus more and more on the well-designed one. The last one turns out to be meta-analysis or comprehensive systematic review of multiple experimental research studies like Cochrane, National Guidelines, Clearinghouse, AHRQ, the Joanna Briggs Institute and other groups. Now these are the various institutes and groups which have really dedicated themselves for the systematic reviews, and we will see that the meta-analysis or the comprehensive systematic reviews which they have done has been done in a very rigorous and robust manner, and one really has to understand whether these studies are really good for us or not. And once I have gone through them, I really found them to be very systematic, and the approach that they have towards the scientific investigation has to be really appreciated, and we need to understand the importance of it. Now coming over to the strength of the evidence, here you can see again 5 points are there. Now I'm going to start off from A. Type 1 evidence or consistent findings from multiple studies from levels 2, 3 or 4. Now this goes back to the type of evidence. Coming to point B, multiple studies with evidence types. Coming back to the type of evidence, type 2, 3 and 4 that are generally consistent ones. Now C, multiple studies with evidence types 2, 3 and 4 that are inconsistent ones. So you have got 2 groups now, for consistency and for the inconsistent one. D, limited research evidence or one type 2 study only. And the last one that you have got is type 4 or 5 evidence only. So you can see the strength of the evidences. Now in the beginning you start off with type of evidence number 5, then you go to 4, then a combination of both 4 and 5, then you start off with 3, and then there's a combination of 3, 4 and 5, then you reach to 2, and then you include 2, 3, 4 and 5, then you reach to 1, you include it, and finally there would be a level where you do not include level 1 with any of the below levels at all. So that's the strength, and this has been given to us by Joanna Briggs Institute and AHCPR, Eilers and Heermann 2005. If you read their book, they have very clearly mentioned about it. Now comparison of the article types. Now many times students and the research scholars keep asking me, ma'am, how do we supposed to go ahead with the case studies? Now here case studies I'm saying, sorry, for the review of literature. Now here we can see that we have been given the type of article, coverage, authorship, then we have got what we call it as article itself, which is reviewed. Article type appears in peer reviewed articles. So how you're supposed to go further, they have given to you. Case study describes one individual patient or a case. Authors are reporting on their own case. sometimes depends on the journal. And then do we have to do it? Yes, it is peer reviewed journal, and that's how they are given so much of importance. Then comes what we call it as the primary research, describes one study, authors are reporting, and this is again yes and yes. Now in the review part, summaries of many studies are presented, authors are reporting on the research of others, and this is usually again I would say printed out, and then this is again reviewed. So you can see that yes, you cannot ignore any of these things, and you need to take care of each and every level of your research and proceed further part of it. So here I have given you introduction about two things, how to do it and how to understand the types of evidence as well as the type of levels also. So let me catch you up with another discussion on systematic reviews in another part of the series. Till then, thanks, take care, bye.